I was listening here, and you're saying that the people that are going to benefit the most from this are going to be the people along the river who are going to probably get out of the flood zone and then be saving money on flood insurance and all of that other. But then I would say, what about the fact that they've been the residents and the people who have been taking the brunt of it all of these years? They've been the ones overpaying on their insurance. They've been the ones that have been flooding over the years. I know Highlands flooded various times. People have lost their, parts of their homes. They've been flooded. And I understand the tier system. I just don't understand how we can just start, well, one's going to pay 45, one's going to pay 35, and one's going to pay 25. When, as I look at it, it's $45 to pay what I perceive as just a very nominal fee to get everyone out of the flood system, to get everyone to the point where they're not flooding and they don't have a fear of flooding. And I would think that just as South County benefits from a lot of our industry and our tax base up north, that they should also feel that they can contribute to what's going on up north when it comes to the flooding and the water.
Well, there's a lot of inequity things throughout Lake County. I mean, obviously, we would love to have casinos, but we don't have the Lake Michigan near us. I mean, we get a percentage of it.
I mean, but you benefit from it in terms of what the county does.
I don't want to get into it Gary, East Chicago, and have this windfall of dollars coming in. We do get a piece of it, but it's not to the level that it's at. Right. I think each community in Lake County contributes to the value of our region.
I agree.
And it's tough to quantify. This one's better than others because for whatever reason. I think this is the first time that, and the majority of the dollars that we're talking about, the 45, 35, and the 25, and that last caller, just for his clarification, would be paying only 35, not the 45. So he's not paying as much as the people in that first tier. The first tier is really the people around the levee.
Right, okay? Right up near it, and it's a thin line across the way. You know what? We've got a lot of people that want to talk to us.
Bruce is $6.4 million per year, and it only costs right now about 3.5 or 3.2, 3.5 for the maintenance. It's the administrative side of this that also gives us concern of why you need so much money. And if the RDA releases the $6 million, I mean, there could be a cost-benefit sharing that could be reduced.
Crown Point Mayor Dave Uran is in the house. Let's take your calls right now at 219-845-1100. Anthony, you're on with the mayor.
Hi, good morning. My name's Anthony. I support the bill. And Mayor Uran, you said a couple things, and this is why I'm concerned about the noise going downstate at the 11th hour. One thing you said is the bill is not perfect, the adjustment to it. And, of course, neither is the one that went down. And then you also said that, this is a long-term view that will look at the entire Lake Michigan watershed. And my concern is that that wasn't the original intent of the bill. And in its first year going out the gate, I can see how people downstate could look at two things. Wait, now we're trying to protect the entire, Lake Michigan inlet, if you will, watershed, and that wasn't the original intent of the bill. And now Lake County again is coming downstate because they're fractured and have factions, and they want to do something different than what has been proposed and what's passed. And that's our concern about all of this sort of divisive, potentially divisive. We understand and we get the point that, there are other communities that don't contribute maybe necessarily as much, but you could slice it up a bunch of different ways and come to different conclusions. So, we're just saying just leave it alone. And also you mentioned the...
hold on a second. Hey, Anthony, stop right now. First of all, is this the Anthony that's on the Little Cal Commission?
It is.
Anthony Broadnax. Okay, let's identify
Good morning,
that.
Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about that right now. Let's get that one out on the table. The reason that many people say that we failed with funding last time was that there seemed to be some friction, and it played out on the air here between Ed Soliday and Tom McDermott at some point. Now there's a bill that has gone down that has passed, and now it's kind of looks like there's other factors coming in. Is the rest of the state going to see a fracture like he's talking?
Well, I think that's the main thing, Anthony, that we're trying to get the message out that all the, especially the mayors in Southern Lake County, we're not against stopping this bill. I think I've made that point clear that we just want to make sure that at the time when this bill was created that we didn't even have a voice, and you wanted to contribute or take dollars from the southern. And Anthony, you know the map, you know what I'm talking about, and you know where the third tier is at, where it actually does not even contribute to the Little Cal basin itself, and we should put that on the record. You know that, right, Anthony?
Well, yeah, right.
Okay.
And the point you made was that, now we're trying to protect the entire water system that goes into Lake Michigan.
Yes.
That's not what the intent of the bill was initially. And so if I'm a downstater, I could say, well, wait a minute. You guys are changing the complete intent of the bill. Go back and pound sand.
Anthony,
we
what do
can
you
fix
think?
it later.
Okay, all right, hold on a second. You want to address that, Mayor?
Well, I think with I think you can see the rest of the state. If Northwest Indiana and the watershed people who are affected by this come together and we show some unity on this, I think you'll have support throughout the state saying, this is your own backyard. If you guys have come up with a solution that we all can agree on, why can't we pass that bill? Because effectively, it affects nobody else in the state except the people we just talked about in the Lake Michigan watershed. And I think if we would have got a seat at that table early on, you'd have saw a much more united support on both sides of this bill, where we just got involved in the 11th hour, and I think that's where the disconnect is. And I don't think we're against paying for the maintenance. I think there just needs to be a little more explanation why 6.4, 7.2 million needs to be put in play, especially on the RDA side of this, Anthony, where when the deal was made for the $6 million to do the portion that you received to build the levees, there was no. If this bill never happened, how do you pay for that $6 million?
Hey, Anthony, let's talk about that. Are you for paying back that loan?
It's a loan. So, whether I'm for paying it back or not, it's going to have to get paid back at some point. And there's an argument made on the table that, hey, the RDA is supporting a bunch of other economic development stuff. This is a huge, potentially, infrastructure for major economic development. Why should we have to pay it back? So you could argue it that way.
Yeah, I know we could argue it both ways. I'm asking I'm asking it. You hold one of 4 positions on the Little Calumet River Basin Development Commission. You're a key player in all of this. What do you think about paying that money back?
I think it could be paid back a number of different ways. I'm neutral on whether or not it needs to be paid back.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot, Anthony, for calling in. We appreciate it.